Welcome to another edition of Put a Word on It, brought to you by Core Civic, and we have really enjoyed these wonderful reflections. We've brought back people that we did maybe in the first year that we've done Put a Word on It. In particular, mentors mean so much to this program, and here's a man I want you to listen to again. John Sapp, a military guy, worked with drones, combat situations, tough guy, and now he says his whole heart is in this programming, wanting to make a difference and be a mentor for men here at Men of Valor. That's why he is so valuable to us, and I think you'll just love listening to his story. Again, might inspire you to join us and help us in the future. Welcome to Put a Word on It, a podcast presented by Men of Valor. In each episode, we're going to talk with a different man, but each one with a unique journey from brokenness to freedom. I'm your host, Rudy Kalis. I spent over 40 years as a TV sportscaster, then retired and joined the Men of Valor program as a volunteer. So join the conversation. Reconciling men to God, their families, and society. Well, welcome to another edition of Put a Word on It. I want you to meet a man who's one of the real backbones to our whole ministry. These are the mentors. These are men that are willing to come in here and make a difference in the lives of these guys that have gotten out of incarceration and need someone. A lot of times, though, the guys that come to us and join us as mentors have kind of street cred. A man I want you to meet is John Sapp. He's got street cred because he flew into harm's way. He was in the military over there in Iraq and Iran doing dangerous missions. And now God, with his heart inside of him, is talking to these guys and their eyes go wide open. And then they talk about faith, but the street cred is there. Listen, you're one of the most important, to me, the most important people, and what people that are willing to volunteer. What made you think about wanting to get involved with this?
Well, God was working on me over time, and every time it came up, I did a good job of pushing the spirit back down, gave myself a pass. I'll do that when I get older. I've got kids, or I'm in the military, I'm already serving, so I was able to sweep it away. Well, eventually, I did with a group of men from Long Hollow, Experiencing God by Charles Blackaby, and that kind of had me then look for where is God active? Where has he expressed activity to me? Well, prison ministry. So I made a call to Long Hollow Baptist, and they put me in touch with Men of Valor through Kurt Campbell. And it's been life-changing.
What was it like first time you met with the guys?
It was really good for me because I finally got to the place where I had the right heart and the right mind. Initially, I wouldn't have been good in prison ministry because I was self-righteous. And so I thought I was better than them. I thought I didn't need a savior. Well, over time, God worked on me and got me to the point where I realized I'm a sinner like everybody else. I had a chaplain one time come to speak it to a group of men. And his opening line was, the guys I visit in prison, the only difference between them and you is one bad decision. And I remember bowing up at that. I'm like, what are you talking about? I'm better than those guys are. And then I realized, but there were times that I could have made that decision to go with a group of guys that I had no business hanging out with, or I could have tried some drug or something that I had no business taking and gotten hooked on it. And then God worked on me, softened me up, and realized, according to my standard, I was a pretty good guy. But according to Jesus' standard, I'm just like they are.
What do they want from you? What did you sense from them? What did they want to find out about you?
They love it when they find out about the military. They always are curious about that because most of them have not served, and that's something that's not available to them now, with a record currently the way things are. So to them, that's kind of interesting. And I have been all over the world and done some pretty interesting things that a lot of people haven't done. So once they find that out, that seems to kind of carry the topic. But I do know that they want to know about my walk. Where I am.
Seems to me that with us, they want consistency.
Oh, absolutely.
They want to see every single week, are you going to walk the walk, or are you going to be here?
What you're speaking to is probably one of the largest impacts we've had is these guys over and over again point out the fact that, John, you could be anywhere other than here, but you've chosen to come to prison. I mean, they say I would do anything to be out of here, and here you are coming willingly. that really resonates with them. And yes, if you come consistently.
What do you do with the guys? What's your program?
So we're doing like any discipleship group. On the outside, inside, doesn't matter. We're all using the discipleship formula that Long Hollow Baptist uses from Replicate Ministries. So the F260 reading program, we're doing the HEAR journaling, including the memory verses. We don't introduce any other material into it. And it's so empowering for people to realize they can go in the Bible themselves and extract God's wisdom and then start applying that when they've shared a journal entry and you tell them, well done. I mean, it's like that little kid getting a star on their forehead in kindergarten. They respond and light up. But it goes well beyond that. It really illustrates some of the things Jesus talked about, about meditating on the word day and night. You have to do that in order to memorize that verse. So now they understand there's a practical application. We notice that the guys who come consistently, there's change, real change. I mean, you can see it. There's a calmness about them. There's a consistency in their attitude. We do highs and lows in addition to the discipleship program. So we started talking about what's a high for the week and a low for the week, kind of get to know them a little bit better and maybe some areas we can help them in. Well, over time, we noticed that the guys had highs and it was always relational. The lows also tended to be conflict, personal conflict. But the guys who come consistently started not having lows anymore, or the low turned into a high once they applied biblical principles to it. And it was just amazing to see that transformation in these guys. Their situation didn't change. They're still in prison. It's still as bad as it ever was. And yet their inward, their heart has changed. The way they look at it has changed. It's just one of the most beautiful things I've ever witnessed. And it didn't just change them, it changed us too. The facilitators, we wouldn't miss it for the world.
With all that you're doing, are you mentoring anyone in particular?
I mentored one gentleman, Marvin Howe, one-on-one, and it was a fantastic experience.
Did he ask you to mentor him?
Well, he asked for a mentor,
Ah.
and it was a Men of Valor staff, knowing Marvin, his strengths and weaknesses and his personality, and then my strengths and weaknesses and my personality, and they matched the two of us up. So he was searching for a mentor, and I was willing to mentor. And so when they put us together, it was interesting, a little awkward at first because we didn't know each other. But Tevin Peterson, one of the Men of Valor staff, helped facilitate. So he sat us both down together for that first meeting, and he kind of went over the list of expectations and the rules so that there was no misunderstandings, shared expectations right from the get-go, and parameters for his safety and my safety and for success. And the goal was to get Marvin from where he was to graduation, to finish the program, and be that one guy outside the organization and outside the rest of the community here that he could go to.
How often would you have personal communication with him?
Expectation is once a week for about an hour. We oftentimes went over that hour just because we enjoyed one another's company. We would go walk on the trails near here. That's one of the things Marvin and I have in common. We both love the outdoors. So we would go out when we could and walk, and we both love food. So we'd go and get a bite to eat occasionally and just enjoy one another's company and talk about life. And now we're in that next phase of our relationship that doesn't have a timeline on it, doesn't have an objective. It's just to walk side by side and be brothers from this point forward. And it's really nice. So, naturally at Christmas time, he heard from me and I heard from him. When something good happens and he wants to share it with somebody, I'm one of those people he'll turn to, and vice versa.
John, the name of the program is Put a Word on It. So if I had to ask you what a word would be, what would that be?
It'd be Luke 6:38. Give and it will be given to you. A good measure, pressed down, shaken together, and running over will be poured into your lap. For the measure you use, it will be measured back to you.
So give.
Give of yourself, give of your time, give of your talents, give your heart. Whatever you give. I don't like when people say you can't outgive God. No, I'd rather put it the way God is. God outgives you. It's not that he can or he might, he will. He says so in his word.
That's fabulous.
So, but it starts with me giving first.
Well, be and keep doing it. Enjoy it. You do wonderfully. Thank you, John.
Thanks.
Well, let me put a word on it. I love John's word, give. You know, everybody that we've interviewed has had a different word, just so fascinating. And then they connect it to a Bible verse or something that means a great deal to them. Give of yourself, give of your time as God has given to you. And we need that. I just love the fact that he's a mentor, and we need mentors. I have men ask me, I don't know if I want to be around guys that have been incarcerated. Are you kidding? Listen to what John said. You change their lives. It changes you. So if you're wanting to, if it's in your heart, if something inside of you says, I need to be a part of this, I need to give to some men who have made some tough mistakes, but they want to change their lives, well, then you do it. We need you. In that sense, mentors are the key and the backbone to our whole organization. So thank you. That's another edition. I hope you enjoyed it. Put a word on it.